Now, resistant starches. This one I found quite unique because it's not something that's talked about most times when we hear about carbs. But resistant starches are the ones that those of us for the new year who may be on a weight loss plan will want to make sure we're eating. And as you can see here, and I'll read this one because this one is not the one that's most talked about in general conversations. But resistant starches or starches, they act like fiber. They actually call them the third type of fiber amongst the health community. But they contain what are called prebiotics. Now, I definitely want to know by a show of hands who are familiar with the term prebiotics or probiotics. Okay, good. Because if you recognize now that we're in the 21st century, a lot of research now is being focused on what's called the microbiome. And they're looking at good bacteria, and I'm going to put that in quotations, versus bad bacteria. But we've come through an era where use hand sanitizer, make sure it's antibiotic, wipe it down with bleach. I mean, use antibiotics. And we've been so filled with these ideas and the uses of these type of substances that not only have we killed the bad bacteria, but we've also been killing the good bacteria. And what we're finding is, especially when it comes to digestion, is that a lot of the good bacteria flourishes in the gut. So when you kill that, especially if you're taking antibiotics or you're ingesting the fumes from bleach or things like that, you're killing that good bacteria, which makes you susceptible to disease because it depresses the immune system. And so a lot of us, or if you've ever heard the comment before, now you hear that a lot of your immune system is tied to the gut, 70%. But the reason the immunity is tied there is because those good bacteria flourish. But when we kill it, they cannot flourish. We set ourselves up for chronic disease or discomfort and disability. And so that's something we'll go into more detail with in February when we talk about digestion. But I wanted to introduce that so that we could understand that resistant starches help to bring those good bacteria back to life in the gut. And when they come back to life, they perform the functions that they are supposed to do. For example, probiotics are excellent at producing B vitamins. Anybody in here would like to share with us that they know one thing that B vitamins are good for?
Energy.
Energy, absolutely. So those of us who may be tired all the time, it's a good possibility that your good bacteria is not flourishing in your gut, okay? Because that's what they're supposed to do. We should not have to rely on coffee. We should not have to rely on energy drinks. But the reason we do is because we are compromising our digestive tract by killing these good bacteria. So this is why resistant starches are integral or a very important part of the diet. Now, can everyone see that, or do I need to read the bottom?
Yeah, you need to read it.
Okay, I'll read the bottom. All right, it gives us one example of a resistant starch, and of course we have pictures here. Wheat, onions are excellent as a prebiotic. Leeks, you see Jerusalem artichokes. But one of the resistant starches that I highlighted today is called inulin. That is not a misprint. It does not say, it was not meant to say insulin. It is inulin, okay? And nowadays they're starting to actually fortify or put that in some of our foods. But inulin is used in processed foods, which I mentioned, to replace sugars and fats and flour. It increases calcium and magnesium absorption, which we'll talk more about calcium later on. And sources, once again, garlic, asparagus, onion, wheat. So these are foods that you need to find yourself adding to your day-to-day lifestyle in order to get those effects. Because I know someone's like, man, I can't eat garlic. I'm going to have garlic bread. I don't like onions. But what we want to do as we're talking about changing a lifestyle is give you a reason why you should eat the foods you swear up and down that you just can't stand. Because they will give you life.